There we go. All right. So we are live. The first episode of the NTS. Is that right? NTS, Nexus Training Systems. I'm still getting used to it.
That's how new it is.
What?
That's how new it is. It doesn't
That's
even
how
know
new
the
it is.
definition.
Yeah. So who have we got on today? It's the man, the myth, the legend, Lalande, aka
Vegan muscle
Morgan
coach.
Lalande Smith,
Mm-hmm.
the
And
vegan
that
muscle
last
coach.
BMC.
Big biceps and big stash.
Mm. Yeah, well, in certain lights, in certain angles, they look quite big. In some, they look pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, in 99% of angles, they look kind of ridiculous. And the first thing I notice about you, except your amazing personality, is your bolder freaking biceps. I think those biceps are pretty freaking awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, dude. I thought you were referring to I'm bolder now. I was like, yeah, I got no bolder.
Everything is becoming like, if you were a Pokemon, you would be like a stone Pokemon. You know what I mean?
A what storm?
Stone Pokemon, like,
Oh, yes, like a
what was
Geodude.
his name? Like Growl? No, not Growler. Like, this bolder Pokemon, you know?
You got Geodude, you got Geo.
Geodude and Geo something.
What did he evolve into?
I forgot. Like that, just I need to practice
Just
the
Pokemon.
Pokemon thing.
People
But
start reciting them like we used to do as kids.
Alrighty, man. Let's just get into it. And I thought we could start by just talking a little bit about why Morgan is on the show, because you were one of the first people I thought about naturally, because you were my coach and I learned a lot from you. And I think you helped, like, even it's been just I don't know, man, 2 years since that time. Like that kind of just shifted my path, I think, in my mindset, in my coaching career, in my life, just being more confident in being myself and diving into more of N1 stuff and a lot of good hypertrophy content that's kind of still shaping me to this day. So it's like, yeah, if I didn't hop on that train, I don't know where I would be. I would be in a corner somewhere just crying and
Seriously masturbating yourself to sleep.
yeah, something like that. So, yeah, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, if you may, and what you do.
My name's Morgan. Excuse me. Got a dry throat at the minute. I think I'm running on like an average of about 4 hours sleep at the moment over the past 7 days, which feels fabulous. I gotta say, goodness gracious me. But yes, Morgan, Welsh coach, firefighter as well. And yeah, Julian and I worked together about 2 years ago. Yeah, to get him jacked and shredded for a photo shoot. And yeah, it's cool to know that it's had that effect, dude. Yeah, I've seen how your content has certainly taken a shift, and your trajectory is taking a shift as well. I love to see how you've thrown yourself into the deep end a little bit with it, because there is so much to learn.
Yeah,
it's quite overwhelming at times, right? But no, that's me in a snapshot. I mean, I could talk about me literally for like days on end, right? So when you say tell us about yourself, I just gotta like hold myself back a little bit.
narcissistic personality disorder coming in.
Yeah, that's it. Embrace it, baby. I'm embrace that.
Dude, when I like got in contact with you, and I just, yeah, you arranged the photo shoot and everything, and I was like, I met you in real life, and I was like, this guy is like, what is he like? And I met you in person, and you were exactly how I imagined. So that was so funny.
Oh, we had a great time, didn't we? Yeah, had a marvelous time in the Airbnb, chilling.
Yeah.
Wine.
I could talk for like an hour about being your client, because it was awesome, man. Just
We're
feeling like, huh?
We're not here to do that. This is your show.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I thought we could talk a little bit about what happened, because I just messaged you, I think, on Instagram after watching some of your content. I thought this guy has personality, because most people are like, fitness coaching, blah, blah, blah. Message me, fucking some word to apply. But I don't know. There was just something about your personality that like spoke to me. And I think a lot of the people you bring on have the same thing. They just see you're being funny, you're being yourself, you're weird in a good way.
Yeah.
And it just works well on social media.
It's quite dividing at times, I've noticed.
I think you have people who want to Yeah, I think you got some people who want to assassinate you for sure.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, I've made some enemies in my time just because I am who I am and I'm not deviating in the slightest. If you don't like it, right, go that way. Okay, because I'll go this way. If you decide to follow me, then I will give you wrath, my friend. Okay, if you go that way, leave me alone. It's all good. I've had that numerous times, but it's like, what would you prefer? Be your like wholesome, honest, truthful, most representative, I guess, caricature of yourself at all times, or pander to people's perceptions of you and never really know what anyone actually thinks about you because you're never being yourself. You're
Hmm.
changing the way that you are in order for people to interpret you in a certain way. It's like, no, just be yourself, man. Christ, right? And if someone doesn't like you, great. That means you don't have to bother. Okay? You just try
Yeah.
you somewhere else. You go somewhere else. But I think you're right. The majority of the people that I work with at the minute have got we vibe. We've got similar senses of humor. Right? There's like nothing's really off limits, which I think is really really it's a really useful. It seems weird, doesn't it, kind of to discuss things behind the scenes that maybe initially aren't perceived as being associated with what's required of someone to get lean or build muscle, right? But those things
Hmm.
that like social life interactions, relationships, bits and pieces like that, mental health, just all these things that have a direct impact on your ability to adhere and do what's being asked of you. If you just like reach out as a friend, it's like, you okay?
Hmm.
You're surprised how many people are actually like, no, I'm not. I could do the hand. Oh, great. Okay. The sooner we fix that stuff, the sooner we can start getting jacked, right? So let's talk about it.
Yeah, and I think for me, like the mental aspect was a big thing. Um, of course, I had lots to learn about hypertrophy, about training, but just vibing. When you have personal training clients in the gym, it's the same thing. Like they don't really give a fuck about iliac pull arounds or some shit. They care about just you resonating with them and being on their level and just talking about the weather and what's on TV and shit between sets.
Mm.
And I mean, fitness should be fun. It shouldn't be dry like on a certain podcast that we just talked about.
In which, yeah, in which the iliac lat pull down isn't actually an iliac lat pull down because the individual who created said lat pull down is a clown, nonsensically. Yeah. Okay. How about do you want to like have a conversation about it? Nope, blocked.
Yeah, that's how it goes usually.
How it goes.
So yeah, I mean, one thing I thought was really cool is when I was your client and you were like, let's just prep for a photo shoot and just get you ripped and take some pictures, have a sick time. So what kind of got you into the client photo shoot thing?
Well, you were the first. You took my photo
I
shoot
was
plan.
the photo shoot virgin.
Mm-hmm. I thought, I guess I saw it was something I always wanted to navigate into for the sake of mostly at the time marketing, right? I'll be bluntly honest. It was like if you can get someone shredded and you can
Hmm.
sing and scream and shout about it, right? It's a little more powerful a thing to share than purely from an aesthetic point of view, right? In terms of what catches attention, a little more aesthetic to share than I don't know someone who's dropped a couple of kilos, right? And I know that sounds shit, and I'm not equating the two, right, by any stretch of the imagination. Kind of your transformation is just as powerful and as important to you as someone who's dropped a couple of kilos, just to get in better shape. But from a marketing perspective,
Hmm.
okay, what gets eyes on, what gets more reach, what gets more follows, it's like, yeah, if you got someone shredded in great lighting and they're having a great time and you can document the process, it's like, yeah, it's probably gonna, start getting the eyes on you a little bit more and your I guess capabilities as a coach. And so I saw when you arrived, I kind of just saw the potential in you really. Kind of you did what was asked of you. The goal was to kind of drop a couple of kilos anyway, just to kind of make way for some eventual muscle growth stuff. I thought, well, just ask the question. Popped it open. Do you want to do a photo shoot? Yes, yes, I will. Um, and since then, I've done it with a few more clients, of which I really enjoy it because of the intricacy of it sometimes, and how attentive you have to be and the payoff at the end. And I think there is something quite rewarding about helping someone realize their potential. Okay, especially if that potential comes, with the detriment of a lot of things, with regards to your relationship with others, your health potentially. Now you have to manage and juggle all these things. I think it's a very, very difficult thing to do. And clearly people want to do it, clearly people are inspired to do it. And I think they're just helping them realize that is deeply fulfilling for me, alongside the intricacy that's involved. I think that's probably a little bit of my ADHD kind of, oh, it's so intricate, right? Stimulation. And yeah, so in summary, it's like marketing. It's a lot of fun, especially when you've got Harry involved and he's documenting everything, right? And you can turn it into a vlog like we did. And yeah, it's really fulfilling, man. It's really fulfilling.
Yeah, I think when you're able to bridge that gap between like the nerdy stuff and the science and the application with the personality and the connection and all this shit, then it just becomes this awesome thing. And it's a win for you, marketing wise. It's a win for someone to feel like they have a goal to shoot towards and something they've never done before and go further than they've ever gone before. Because I felt like a photo shoot, like what the fuck? Like I'm too small. I'm never gonna compete because I don't have enough size. But that kind of gave me a kick in the ass to be like, I can do stuff. Like, why am I fucking doubting myself?
Yeah, I mean, you were tiny. What did you weigh? Was it 64?
It was like 63, 64, I think.
Yeah. But there's something for the listeners, is you look at Julian in the photo shoot shots, he doesn't look 63 kilos, 64 kilos. He looks enormous. It just goes to show how God's, I think a lot of people, the clients that I work with, but maybe even for yourself, is you tell them, you drop a couple of kilos and you'll be amazed at what's underneath there. I promise you. And they're like, nah, I haven't got any muscle. Like you were like, I haven't got much. Me? Yeah, trust me. You'd be amazed. The illusion of size, right? It just comes from being lean. I think it's fascinating.
And sometimes you have not that big of a frame and you just think, like, I'm not a big individual. So like, why would I look good shredded? But then actually you have some size, you just don't really feel like it because you're not that huge, dimensionally speaking.
Good.
Yeah. So what brought you to like what made you interested in becoming a fitness coach? Was it kind of random, or was it something you always thought about doing? Or
so I think I've seemingly got this desire to want to help people. I don't recognize it consciously, but kind of my life has just navigated itself in such a way that I do just find myself helping people, and unconsciously finding fulfillment in it. Like the fire service, it wasn't something I went into necessarily with the goal of helping people, right? Like, honest to God, it was like, damn, you can earn a pretty penny in that job, and it's fun, and then kind of whilst I was firefighting, I became a coach as well, and it's exclusively built around helping people. So there is an element of that in it for sure. And when I got the job, when I landed the fire service job for the first time in 2018, I think, when I got in full time, had some extra cash, hired a coach, and that opened my eyes as to what it is I enjoy about working with people. It is the connection, the fun, the laughs, the overcoming of difficulty through just the interjection of a bit of humor as well goes a long way. And I like to be that source of I guess entertainment to people where I can. So it kind of opened my eyes to that relationship as you can develop as a coach with your clients. And I enjoyed what I experienced up until I started prepping for my first bodybuilding show. And after the show went disastrously bad, I wanted to start doing it for people, just to not let what happened to me happen to others, right? Because and I hate talking about it like this, because it makes me it almost comes across as though I resent the coach that I was working with for what happened. I'm truly disgruntled by how it was allowed to happen. Okay, but it's in the past now. It's forgiven. But in the moment, it was handled so badly that I honestly thought to myself after the show that I said I God help me if this happens to anyone else. Right. I think, I think I've got what it takes to give this a go. And so I just started.
That might be why you have such a good approach and like a care for your clients, is because you've been there in their shoes and kind of got shredded and it wasn't that great. And you just thought like, okay, when I coach my clients, I'm going to fucking do this proper.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a case of God help me. This isn't happening to anyone else. And so far it hasn't. I've prepped, like, even, did Tom Frampton, like the first bodybuilding client I had, and the only one I've had thus far. It's like, we fucking nailed it. It's my first ever bodybuilding client. I was like, yeah, mission accomplished. Great, I can do this very capably. And it's been a pursuit ever since, really. Yeah. Obviously, there's lots of pains in the arse that come with it. You're not just a coach, you, as you know. Jesus Christ, that's like,
yeah, you're like a freaking what's it called? Person working in a freaking school fixing all the shit.
Yeah, janitor.
Janitor.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, janitor. Without anything kind of specifically written in his contract that kind of governs what he has to do on a daily basis. It's just like, today you do this, and then this, and then this. Like, why do I have to do this? It doesn't seem particularly kind of relatable to anything that I'm actually doing, right? Like paying for fucking website subscriptions and shit like that. It's like, yeah, you kind of got to do that, and you kind of got to post content all the time, and you're going to be marketing, and you're going to be good at writing, very convincing with writing, and you've got to be a sociable person. You have to be confident. Okay, you have to work ridiculous hours all the time, and then you've got to coach people as well. Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah, people think like the coaching is the whole thing, but it's like 10% of the thing, 20%. I mean, it's a big part of the thing, but it's like the behind the scenes. There's so much stuff going on, so many floating parts.
As a solo, as a sole trader or a solo business owner, like both are at the minute. I'd love to get to a place eventually where it's like, as I'm sure you do. Right, hey, content guy, can you do this thing today? It's like, yeah. Yeah, just let me crack on with the coaching thing. One day, dude. One day, we're getting there.
Yeah, and you got to find people you trust to do the job the way you want it to be done, just as your clients got to trust you. Because I think a lot of people who are looking for fitness coaches are like, who should I pick, And like, it's kind of scary to pick a fitness coach because they think this image that fitness coaches are strict. They're going to tell you to shut the fuck up if you're struggling, or just hand you a fucking program and tell you to get going. I mean, I have business coaches in the past who were like pretty harsh and like shove coaching down people's throats and shut the fuck up and just message everyone. And it's like, that wasn't the way I wanted to do things. And I kind of just knew, and you kind of steer it towards the direction you feel in your heart that is right for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've great point that about picking a coach and what's to be expected when working with one. If you work with either Julian or I can guarantee you that you're going to be taken care of like a newborn baby. Like, we wipe your bottom clean of feces if you need it, okay? But there, like you said, there are some coaches out there that are just fucking abysmal, where it is just paint by numbers, check-ins whenever I feel like it, because I have no schedule, okay? And then just grind harder, dude. Yeah. You just don't want it hard enough. Like, it literally exists. Like, I've worked with business mentors that do just that thing. It's like, I will get in touch with you as and when I please. When I reply, so it's up to me, because I'm the mentor, right? And then, this thing isn't working. Can you maybe explain why? Because I've been doing what it is you're trying to tell me to do, when it's just not really manifesting anything. You just don't want it enough. You're just not you're not working hard enough. Right. That's it. Okay.
And I think realistically, a lot of people, like, I kind of want a fitness coach, but I'm scared of hopping on a call and it's going to be pushy and be like forcing coaching down my throat. I think a lot of people expect that now because there are so many fitness coaches who are more like sales people, being a little bit of a fitness coach on the side almost.
Yeah.
I think that what's like separates us, in my opinion, from a lot of those people is that we have like this passion for coaching, and it's like we think it's really cool. It's something we strive to be better at all the time, and I just think it's really cool to be a fitness coach and a personal trainer. And I don't know, it's maybe it's boring for some people, but to me, it's really cool.
Yeah, For sure. Yeah, I think that's a good telltale as to who it is you're perhaps on a call with. Is if you get on a call with a coach and it's a paint by numbers. Why do you want this? What happens if you don't achieve this? How will that make you feel? Right.
Yeah.
If it goes like that, then yeah, probably time to check out. If it goes like, yo, dude, what's up? What do you want to do? Right? How can I help?
If
And
it
you just have
sounds like it's scripted, then it's probably a red flag.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm leaning more towards that approach now, like you, like just chatting with people, being a fucking human being, and like, what are you struggling with? What's going on? This is what I do. This is how I can help. If I can't help, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say I can fix your freaking cancer. Uh, like,
Yes, I'm not chemotherapy, okay? I'm a coach.
yeah, when you get like a few more kilos of mass on you, that cancer is just gonna fly away.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna rip right through it.
Building muscle is anti-cancer promoting. Did you
But I hope
know?
so. Imagine that. That'd be amazing. Apparently, sharks can heal from cancer.
I didn't know that, but I know
Yeah.
some animals have what's it called? Recuperative,
Regenerative.
regenerative. And then I lost another word.
Properties.
Regenerative properties. Yeah, like chameleons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Julian and I, regenerative. Okay. You can strike down, you get the fuck back up.
You
And you
just
just
say we're fucking weird and stupid, and we just grow back even weirder and stupider.
yeah. Yeah. It didn't work last time, then I'm gonna double down on it.
That's literally you. Like, people saying this about me, I'm gonna be even more fucking weird.
Yeah, for real. This is me, baby. If you don't like it, I'm gonna make it even worse.
Yeah, I guess we can talk a little bit about because we talked a little bit about what we do, fitness coaching, blah blah blah, why, how, salesy people. So, like, why do you think people aren't making gains or struggling with their fitness, fat loss, muscle gain? Why would they need a coach? And like, what's in your opinion generally what people struggle with, and the reason why they're not packing on size?
The biggest thing I've seen is just, or I've experienced, is a lack of understanding as to how to construct training sensibly, safely, with longevity in mind. I think that's something I'm always peddling at the minute. Is right. Yeah, we're not doing 7 days of training per week with 6 sets per fucking exercise, right? Because you keep that up for 2 weeks, for maybe a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, your body's eventually going to say, nope, we're not doing this anymore. And then you can't build any muscle, right? You might be able to supercharge it for a little bit by going balls to the wall all the time. But remember, like the biggest and best in this game are the ones that have been doing it for the longest. So we should always strive toward that when it comes to programming. And yeah, programming from a training program perspective is the thing I think that most people struggle with. And I think most people kind of understand what they need to do when it comes to nutrition, right? But again, the lack of understanding, I think, mostly when it comes to nutrition and an appreciation for the time frame required in order to see significant change is one of the biggest pitfalls of most people. Is with the lack of understanding, there's a lack of confidence in what they're doing. Right? Is it working? I don't know. Okay, which is why Julie and I have systems in which we can assess if it's working or not. Okay, because we're good coaches, and then combine that with, I haven't lost any weight this week. I weighed in Monday, and then I weighed in the next Monday, and I actually gained weight. It's like, okay, let's. I think there's a few reasons there, my friend, as to why is you're not building the muscle or losing the fat that you want. It's just lack of understanding in general. People can wing this and make gains for a little bit, as we both experienced, but then you eventually just, why isn't it working anymore? Structure, understanding, maybe a lack of direction as well. I think some people just don't know which direction to go with. Do I gain? Do I cut? And that, what's the word? Hesitation, or I guess hesitation in committing to one of two directions and just flip-flopping between the two, in combination with no accountability, no understanding, right? No preparedness of the length of time. It's like you're just going into this blind and deaf, and you're expecting to find your way around. No. if you're listening to this right now and you're struggling, to achieve what you want with your body, it's probably one of those things. And again, I'm going to push it again because that's ultimately why we're here. This is why Julian and I exist. Okay, because we've been there. We understand how shit it is. Because for me, dude, I was doing it for like 5 years. Just going to the gym, winging it, no clue as to what it is that was going on. Oh, I know. I'll just buy a stronger pre-workout. That'll fix it. That'll give me more gains. Or I'll just buy this new brand of creatine. Right, 5 years of just wasted money, wasted effort because I had no guidance, no structure, and then here we are, having gone through that shit, understanding exactly what needs to be done, regardless of what phase in your training career you happen to be in order to carry on progressing. Guys, hire a coach, man. I know it's a scary thing, right? Like Julian was alluding to, but Jesus, it's truly powerful and empowering, to recognize and realize what you're actually capable of when you have direction and you have like a purpose behind it.
I think that if you find a few coaches online and you think this particular one, I feel like I can trust them and they're being real and they have great results, because that's what it really comes down to. Do they have good results for their clients? Do they display their real self, even on social media? If not, then maybe pick another one.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was, again, this is why I love my clients so much, because I had to delay check-ins on Tuesday because I was out all night with work on a job, and then I was driving to Dad's and the weather was bad. I didn't get there until late. I was like, oh God, guys, I've got nothing in me. You're not going to enjoy the check-in because I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to bring the energy, okay, that I enjoy bringing, and that's going to be very obvious. So I said, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to have to delay them. And just everyone was like, yeah, dude, fucking chill out. What are you panicking for? And yeah, I think that's that kind of flexibility, I think, only comes when you are prepared to invest in the person as an individual, as opposed to like this business like entity that only serves one thing, right? Is it that blend of professionalism and just being a jackass, I think is a wonderful thing. And if you can find that in a coach, like you're winning.
Yeah, and I think the reason you delayed your check-in was because you knew like the energy, the quality is going to be better tomorrow than today. It's not because I'm a lazy ass. And like it's quality over quantity. Same with training. Like a lot of people do too much, too little. I mean, not many do too little. I mean, a lot of people do way too much volume. They just throw a bunch of exercises in there. Like, what's the purpose of this exercise? I don't know. What's the purpose of this one? I don't know. I'm just throwing a bunch of shit together and destroying everything.
It's a very good segue. Very good segue, that.
For sure, because I thought we could talk a little bit about exercise selection for hypertrophy, like free weights. Are they better? Machines, cables, like what's the fucking difference, and why do we pick certain tools? Because in the end, every exercise is just a tool for a particular job. And that's like the totality of your training program is put together by different exercises that have a purpose. Because like when you're in a coaching, I don't like to say in a coaching program, it sounds like this fucking high ticket fit bro shit. But like when you're a coaching client, like there's a reason behind the exercises you're performing, the program you're doing to set you up for the coming program. Like everything's like systemized and is done for a reason. So what do you think? Like, because you've been like coached by people from N1 and taken their online courses and stuff, and they have quite like industry leading revolutionary shit going on, in my opinion, and in your opinion, according to everyone. I think because a lot of people are so stuck up in the science, like if it's not proven 100%, then it's stupid. But it's like in order to progress in this field, we got to try shit that still hasn't been proven, and then we figure out like if it's good or not. But like we got to just try new stuff and figure things out.
Yeah. So that's that, that kind of idea of not having literature to support something directly, right, is something that I think maybe a lot of people challenge N1 on, is because there's not necessarily literature that supports why it is that we're doing X, Y, and Z in our training to facilitate, A, B, or C. But once you, and this is why N1 is so fucking good, is because they give you a concept, right? They explain the concept kind of cellularly, mechanistically, And then it's like, right, what can we do in our training then to induce this chemically, or this cellular kind of chemical reaction, which, you know, promotes this concept? It's like, oh my God, that fucking makes sense, right? And then, oh yeah, but there's no literature to support it. You know, nobody's followed a training program and like assessed the ins and outs of their kind of cellular composition after it to prove that what you're saying is the truth. Therefore, you're just an absolute charlatan. It's like, no, dude, you don't need that. You just need to
Imagine if
understand.
no one tried something new unless it was proven first. Like if you like do psychedelic trips or something like that and think like, well, it's not proven by science that I'm in this realm right now, so it must be fake. Like we got to just go beyond the frontiers of science to figure out new shit.
Yeah, for sure. But before, you know, we figure out the new shit. Yeah, the shit that we do know with regards to like exercise selection and that. God, it's such a God, it's such a difficult challenge, difficult topic to approach
Mm-hmm.
because of how intricate it is. Like you know just how long it's taken to understand kind of how to construct a training program, right, appropriately, depending on what you're trying to achieve. It takes a while to figure stuff like that out, even with guidance and with kind of education. But as you said, the best way to go about understanding what exercises to select is to understand what purpose it's serving in a training program. And I know that sounds really convoluted, and there is a field, or there is a space of people that just say fuck it and just train really hard and get great results anyway. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
typically they're like outliers, right? They're not like you and I who struggle to like pack on a gram of muscle every kind of 2 years, right? They're people that are born to just like inflate the second that they sniff a dumbbell. But for like the average Joe, I know it sounds like a big undertaking to educate yourself to that degree. But once, like, as you know now, it's like once you understand what you're trying to achieve specifically in a training program, you know, in the context of muscle growth or promoting fat loss or maybe kind of deloading and, you know, promoting different things with regards to, again, the M1 stuff, like cellular mechanisms, which are going to potentiate the outcome of the next program. It's like, okay, all right, I'm trying to achieve this. Okay, maybe it's muscle growth in the quads. Okay, what do I need to consider there, right? Should it just be like 10 sets of leg extensions? Should it be 10 sets of hack squats and 1,000,000 drop sets? You know, it's like, what governs that answer? Well, the parameters of training volume that we understand, which again are very broad, in which there's lots of space for individuals to occupy, right? This person needs this much volume, this person needs this much volume. And then within those people, you've got to consider like training age, you know, how strong is that individual? You know, how many years have they been lifting? What age are they, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they nursing any pre-existing injuries that need to be accommodated for? Does that need to govern exercise selection? Is there a certain contractile range or resistance profile, exercise that triggers kind of some really, really unfortunate kind of ailment that this individual has, like a knee injury or something? It's like, my God, you know, it's like when people when the question is proposed, it's like, what's the best exercise for this? It's like, dude, right, let's go and get a coffee, let's sit down and let's figure
Mm-hmm.
this out so you will understand forever. Okay, because it's not a case of it's the hack squat, it's the leg press, it's the pendulum squat, this, that, and the other. It's a case of what are you trying to achieve? What do you need? How much of it do you need? Dude.
And I think like now on social media, like biomechanics, resistance profiles, all this shit is more people are starting to learn it and like it's becoming more relevant. And I think that'll lead to people starting to learn more about why different exercises are used and what they're good for, what they're bad for. Everything has a good side and a bad side. I couldn't fucking hit my quads to failure with barbell squats for a million years. Like hack squats, even Smith squats, if you don't have anything else, pendulums, like it's just a different freaking tool for the job. And it does the job of crushing your quads often much better. And everyone is different. Some people, like you said, some people blow up in 2 years and they don't really know what they're doing, but they just have great genetics. Some people just struggle to pack on a gram of size, and maybe they need a more detailed or intricate approach to grow muscle.
I think, yeah, with social media at the minute, kind of hopping on the bandwagon. This is why I've shifted away from it. I used to be quite kind of big into the kind of talking about resistance profiles and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that technical stuff. Not to say I'm not bashing on it, right? I know that you've moved in that direction, and the way that you're explaining it's really cool.
Well,
But
now I feel dumb.
no. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, there are people. There are people who aren't as clued up as you that don't understand why resistance profiles, exercise selection actually matters, right? And they're just chucking out these words, right? Like it's my back day, so I'm using this exercise because of the length and resistance profile. Okay, and it crosses this kind of angle. And it's like, yeah, right. But do you understand why? Okay, you're not really explaining anything. Then people are coming into this fresh. Like when I went into it fresh for the first time years ago, like it was all about like training volume, intensity, reps in reserve, and all this stuff. And that was difficult enough to get my head around, let alone kind of exercise selection, resistance profiles, and all this other bullshit, right? So now kind of social media is like peddling this narrative that everyone has to start here, right? In terms of educating themselves. It's like, no, guys, we're missing out all of this shit, which is really important. You're putting people off. Stop talking about this stuff without giving it context, right? Just to use big fucking words. Like, shut up. You're not helping anyone. And I think it can be for people who are, again, struggling. I'm thinking from their perspective here. I'm wondering why, social media is probably the worst place you can go to try and educate yourself on anything as it pertains to muscle growth, fat loss, because the rate with which the information comes at you and the arrangement of it just is completely nonsensical, because it's just people posting whatever the fuck they want. And there's ideas coming in here, there's ideas coming in there. It's like, where'd you go? What do you look at? Right? Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in the coach. They'll guide you through it properly. Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of people who don't understand the application of things will recycle content and just say this is because of this, but they don't really know what it's for. It's just something they saw on a different page.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, didn't want. Yeah, I didn't. That wasn't me bashing on you in the slightest, right? Because you handle it very well. I like your posts because you break things down and you make it make sense, and you're clearly attracted. You're clearly trying to attract that person by explaining that stuff.
And most importantly, like I'm getting better. I'm just doing my best, getting better every day, trying to put good shit out there. And like, maybe I'm not the most knowledgeable in the world, but at least I'm improving all the time and doing my best, right? Because I think like I have this pet peeve, I think it's called, because I know I'm not the best in the world, but when I see like fitness coaches with hundreds and thousands of followers, and I just see like screenshots on their client stories, like I did this exercise today, like leg press, 6 sets, 20 reps, no fucking word about the tempo or the foot positioning or bias or anything. It's like I can already tell like this is just thrown in there just to do some leg stuff,
Yeah, I think when you see cookie cutter shit like that, it really doesn't instill any sense of confidence that the coach is actually giving any attention beyond that, right? If you're not breaking down the details of an exercise with sets, reps that are specific and have a range and a tempo and a prescribed intensity, okay, then are you actually going to take the time to review this person's technique and make sure they're doing it safely? Okay, and like assess if they're recovering from it or not. You're going to check their numbers as well. If you can't even be asked to kind of put in the things that actually matter when you're performing a rep into your programming, I doubt that you're going above and beyond to make sure that they're performing it safely, right? And they're recovering appropriately and they're sleeping well. Yeah, I get you there, dude. It's like,
I think people just have a tendency to like shit that's hardcore. Like, fucking 15 sets of leg presses, 50 reps. Yeah, it sucks. It's fucking horrible. It's painful, but it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And what was I getting into here? Yeah, just like a lot of coaches who have a lot of followers, a lot of clients, a lot of money, who don't really know what they're doing. And it just pisses me off because I'm here trying to do my best, trying to become better, having imposter syndrome, thinking Morgan's fucking knowledgeable. All these other people know more than me. I'm shit at times. Sometimes if you're having a bad day, like, fuck, I'm not that great. And then you see these people doing better, but they don't know what the fuck they're really doing. So it's kind of
it's normal to feel like that as well, especially when you do compare yourself against, as we do nonsensically, the biggest and the best, okay, the ones that get the most clicks and the ones that get the most views and engagement and things which we want in order to reach more people. Yeah.
And it's
Something
all
wrong.
good to get inspired by someone's physique and get attracted to their coaching because they're in great shape. That's all good and well, but it's true what they say. I think like don't judge like what coach you're gonna get off of their physique. Just judge it off what they're putting out there, how they're putting it out there, the results of their clients.
Hmm.
This is a very superficial industry, really,
Yeah,
in
it
some
goes
ways.
beyond just the physique. Yeah.
Yeah. How do I get into the next topic without creating this weird transition?
Hey, you learn to do it. It's all good. I'll entertain the viewers in the meantime.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about exercise selection, exercises, coaches, a lot of random shit. But when in your time with N1 and learning that stuff, like there are a lot of exercises that also has appeared in recent years on social media, like pull arounds, iliac pull downs, table pec variations, all this stuff. Um, and a lot of people think is bullshit, like it's overkill. Like this is too fucking try hard. Let's just do barbell rows, Renaissance periodization style, and all this shit is just fancy masturbating. Here's my knowledge kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I don't know how because it's a complex thing. Like, what's the point of pull around and shit? But like, why would you just do those kinds of things instead of just do barbell rows and freaking barbell squats?
Because yeah, it's N. God, this is turning like an N1 butt licking kind of shit. But hey, it's kind of it's largely what's gotten us to both the way we are today. Christ
Mm-hmm.
alive, I wouldn't have been able to have gotten you into photo shoot shape without having worked with Cody. Okay, so it's when it comes to M1, I think people forget that they are exclusively right, like researching things and trialing things that are optimizing your training to like to the nth degree, right? That's what they're all about is optimization, 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 and they wear it on that they wear it as a badge of honor as they should do because no one else is putting that the degree of research into this stuff at the minute. Okay. And I think people look at that in absence of the context of why it is that N1 are doing. Kind of they see these kind of weird and wonderful exercises, right? You know, unless like it's not weird, really, is it? Like a pull around. All you're doing is fucking adducting your shoulder a couple of more degrees. That's literally it, dude. People are getting
Mm-hmm.
butter over it. It's
And I
like,
think a lot of people just say, like, what's the point in optimizing? Just do the basics. And
why don't you do the
well,
basics then?
if you can do something better and a
Mm.
bit more detailed, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
it takes like 5% more effort and thought after like thinking about it. And
Challenges people's egos. You know, I've
I
gotten
think a lot of people who think, oh, this is too fucking complicated. I'll just stick to the basics and call the people doing this like
mm,
overreaching, like
mm,
over exaggerating this shit.
mm. It's like, yeah, it's like if you're that secure with your application anyway, then why do you feel the necessity to call people out who are trying to make your application better if you want to make it better? It's like, you know, if you're confident in your training and you enjoy it and you feel like you don't need to kind of embrace this kind of optimization thing, then you crack on, right? If you start turning around and barking at the people who are putting out this information to try and help you, it's like, that's telling me a little bit of something about yourself, sir. Are you perhaps not that confident in what you're doing? You know, is your ego being damaged here because someone knows a little bit more than you, even though you've gotten as far as you have done with the bare basics? Okay, I don't need to change. No, I've gotten this far doing exactly what I think I need to do. Right? Who the fuck are you to try and say I should change things? It's like I'm not saying you should. Okay, I'm just saying if you want to, go ahead. Right? Stop barking at me, dude. It's just trying to help you.
But
Fuck it
dude,
out.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he got big without all that fancy bullshit.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. That's what I'd say. Great. Okay. Go Arnold, right? Guess what most people need? A little bit of optimization because most people aren't built like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how people compare themselves to the genetic freaks in the
Mm,
60s, 70s,
mm,
80s.
yeah. And they're not even comparing themselves. It's like they're using it as evidence as to why it is that you shouldn't really go above and beyond to invest in your knowledge and have an interest in something essentially. That's
It's like
literally
you make a better car to get somewhere faster, and it's like someone got there without that car, so why use that car? It's like, well,
yeah.
it's just better.
It's a it's a Stone Age way of thinking, isn't it? Those are the people that get left behind, really. They get left behind in the evolutionary kind of pit of despair. not being prepared to take on and embrace novelty and ideas and things which challenge the norm, right? If there's any threat of that, and they kind of, get put fucking, what's the word? Like, get their fans out. It's like, fucking hell, dude. All right, you stay in that crowd, all right? You stay in that pool of genetics. I'm not interested in that shit. I want to actually get somewhere and learn a little bit, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a good thing about the optimal stuff is that it'll teach people to target muscle groups that are hard for them to hit. Like I have long fucking femurs. I have to bend over on the barbell squat. It looks like a deadlift. And I wondered why the fuck aren't my quads ever growing? I was just doing barbell squats and leg extensions. And I mean, it makes sense. I wasn't really hitting my quads ever, just on a leg extension. So
he's a big glutey boy.
Yeah, that's why my ass is so amazing.
I've seen this
in microscopic view, zoomed in.
Mm-hmm. That was your penis.
No. That's too much. We gotta be professional here, because we won't get any clients if we just have fun and just talk shit. Like, we gotta be professional.
Yes, we will. That's what we do on social media. Remember, that's what attracts people.
I made this podcast to just scam people to just hop on my coaching call, my freaking consultation call, and just push them into buying coaching and fucking selling their house to afford it.
Yeah,
with PayPal credit.
This is about, dude. We wouldn't be doing this if we were trying to get more clients.
I'm not trying to get clients from this podcast. I'm just trying to be a good person and just giving away knowledge. I mean, I don't want clients. I just.
He's lying. He's absolutely lying. Big fib, Julian.
Okay, another smooth transition into the next topic. Not smooth at all. Smooth at my English is going to shit as well. It's not smooth at all, but it doesn't really matter. So I thought we could talk a little bit about your approach to coaching different clients, because everyone's different, right? We need to gather a fair amount of info before setting up a program for someone. And then like we start there and we adjust over time, because we don't know. Like, some people think that coaches, like, they have done this shit. Like, they're going to know exactly what's best for me and exactly my situation and everything that fits into my training from day one. But like, coaching is it's teamwork. It's a process. Like, you'll get to know the person, their weaknesses, their strengths, their attributes in all sorts of ways. And like, when you coach someone who's a beginner, never been to the gym before, or someone who's a bodybuilding client who's trained for 15 years straight, or someone who's just trained for a couple of years, like, what do you feel is the different kind of approach you take to those kinds of people?
Yeah, it's just learning about them, really, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. You just got to learn about the person, particularly if they're a novice, who've got no experience of being consistent. I'd say is probably the biggest challenge for a lot of people, and finding a way to inspire that consistency, because it is difficult. It's really difficult, isn't it? If I was to remove myself from how ingrained I am in this when it comes to, tracking my food, going to the gym, pushing really hard, all that kind of crap, it's like, on the surface, it's really challenging stuff, mentally, physically. But you mean I have to track my food like every day if I want the best results possible? Probably. And I have to go to the gym and like push myself to a point in which my body thinks I'm probably about to die. Yes, you've got to do that as well. And you've got to do it for years and years on end. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that, says the client on the consultation call. And I think it's about initially finding a way to navigate an individual toward the consistencies that they need, which is typically like just an alignment of what it is they want to achieve and why it is something they want to achieve. And through that, it really does. I think that's such an important part of coaching a novice, is understanding what makes them tick. When they are consistent, why are they consistent? When they have a bit of a wobbly, which is to be expected, and we all have them from time to time, it's like, why did that happen? Okay, it's not conducive with what we want to achieve long term. And it may sound anal, to kind of highlight, moments of wobblies when you're working with novice clients, instead of just saying, oh, it's okay, pat on the head, I don't know, we'll do better next week, it's okay. It's like, no, okay, You fucked up, essentially, and you know it. So let's figure out why that is, because nobody likes to fuck up. Okay? Nobody likes to fuck up and like have that be a detriment to the rate with which they're progressing and the rate with which they're able to feel fulfilled and find satisfaction in their pursuits. That's one of the biggest things I'd say that's most important for guiding novices, is helping them to stay consistent and identifying when it is that they deviate from that. Mm-hmm. But then with individuals like yourself, right, who, you never missed a beat. Okay, on the way to the shoot, you just every week you turned up, everything was ticked. You nailed all your calories, nailed all your macros. Now it's a case of being like, right, we've surpassed the novice stage. I don't really need to worry about Julian being consistent. And if he's not for like a weekend or something, it's probably because of something that he's decided to do. Yeah, I had a weekend out with the boys. Oh well, it's like, okay, cool. As long as it doesn't start happening every week, 7 days a week, which is not going to, because you're someone who's aligned what it is that you want to achieve with your actions through that novice phase. When we get to like people like yourself, it's a case of how do we keep you interested? Okay, because there is a element of monotony which can sometimes be difficult to overcome. And how do we begin optimizing stuff, right? Exercise selection, training volume. Do you prefer higher volume stuff with lower intensity, or do you prefer higher volume, higher set volume, higher rep volume with lower intensities? Do you prefer higher intensities with lower set volume? What's going to keep you most interested? What's going to kind of inspire you to train hard? Cool. Once you've nailed that, right, let's really dive into the intricacies behind exercise selection and maybe broadening the programming horizon from just muscle growth, to maybe we can induce something specific here in order to make muscle growth better later on. But yeah, it's a case of understanding. And I know that sounds like, well, yeah, obviously a coach needs to understand their clients. It's not that obvious to a lot of coaches, right? Clearly, it's understanding what makes a person tick, where they are in the journey, what they need help with in any given specific moment, which I think is another very difficult tool to learn as a coach, is to identify like where someone's faltering and why.
Yeah.
Right. And what they need help with in that moment. But yeah, the breadth of people that we both work with, what helps us understand them the most, it's being a real person again, isn't it? Having an interest in them, understanding why things are happening.
Yeah, just being a straight up good person and having a blend of knowledge and experience. You've trained a lot yourself. You've coached people. You've seen what they react well to, what they don't react well to. And the psychological aspects behind it, because it's not just like hop in this exercise and do this and track your macros perfectly from week to week. Like everyone's different psychologically, and beginners often struggle more with consistency and just getting on it. And more advanced people are just more autonomous and just do whatever the fuck you say.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. You have to be prepared to be multiple different people, I'd say, or have multiple different personas, right? That need to be played at different times. Like if I'm prepared to lay the smack down, and I will lay it very hard. If I can see someone fucking up, and I know that it's impacting their well-being, right? If a client of mine's fucking up and they don't care, then it's like, well, I don't care, right? Why are we here, dude? At the moment, this relationship is nonsensical. You don't care about why it is that what you're doing isn't working, okay? So why should I care? You're not going to make the effort if you don't care. Whereas if there are clients that are trying their hardest but are still fucking up, right? And there was one recently, a couple of weeks ago, and I hope she's listening to this, because it was a marvelous check-in, and it was so powerful for both of us. There was just this recognition that, well, I recognized that she was doing her working her absolute hardest to just maintain this level of consistency which she'd achieved over the past couple of months, which was way beyond what it is that she had prior to us working together. But she was so unprepared to recognize it because of the expectations she set for herself, which I think were largely governed, again, by social media, seeing all of these marvelously in shape people that just seem to do it effortlessly. And it was a coaching hat moment, right? I had it strapped on real good. I was like, fucking listen here, dude, right? If you keep this shit up, you're never getting anywhere in life with this, anywhere ever, right? You're doing a marvelous job. And the moment you start to recognize that you're doing a marvelous job, you're going to get better at this. So please, for fuck's sake, stop being so harsh on yourself all the time. Okay? Do you know what's going to help you stop being harsh on yourself all the time? Is if you fucking get better at this shit. Because you're not trying to get better actively. You're just accepting the fact that what you're doing isn't working. So yeah, you can do that and beat yourself up forever and never get anywhere, or pull your fucking socks up and get on with it. Right? And
Yeah.
it works.
Because as a coach, you're, whether you like it or not, you're kind of a therapist, like psychological what's I hate when my English goes to shit. You're kind of a therapist and like a nerd at training. And sometimes people need to be pushed. Sometimes they need to be more free to do what they feel.
Yes.
And you kind of learn these things with experience and by coaching a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I started, like I had a client and she was a beginner. She was kind of overweight and I just was too harsh with her. And that went the total different opposite direction of what I tried to do. So, I mean, I learned that the hard way. And sometimes we fuck up. Even coaches fuck up. I mean, Morgan's had coaches who fucked up.
Yeah.
But the good coaches, they just never stop learning. They really have passion for their clients and the field we're in. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it at the minute with more of my advanced clients. Is I'm because I've started experimenting with it, kind of higher intensities, lower training, lower volume driven through sets. I've found it to be really, really effective.
Yeah.
Right? Like breaking through strength barriers and like actually building muscle and maintaining it actually a lot easier in a deficit, I will say, because you're not doing as much to get the same output, right? Or get the same results. So I've approached them and I said, hey guys, I want to trial some new kind of programming on you just to see how we get on. Are you okay with that? You know, because it might end up catastrophically bad. You know, it might crush you. And you might never want to train again. Hopefully it doesn't do that, but I think it probably won't. But just to let you know, I'm trialing something. It might fuck up. Yeah, like you said, like the God, this is we're absolutely blowing smoke up our own asses here, aren't we? This is great. It's just an opportunity to dream about how good we are.
But I think that's a good thing that you're trying experimenting a little bit, because that's how we figure out new shit and we like figure out what is the best approach. And like, I think some people, like some coaches as well, and I've done it a lot too, like we stay too stuck in our own approach and we just like stay in a certain framework instead of just saying, scrap this shit, let's try a different approach. Let's try to experiment with something and see if that works. And if not, we'll just fuck it, we'll just do something else. But like never being too married to a certain approach, because it's the same thing we talked about with N1 and with revolutionizing the industry and shit. If everyone just stuck to their patterns, their old patterns, they would never discover new shit. And also with the lower intensity stuff, I also feel like because a lot of people are doing way too much, and quality before quantity. Like do a few exercises with great tempo, great execution, great setup, push your reps in reserve to like 1 or 2 or 3, just get really good at gauging your reps in reserve, learning like how much you can recover from. Because in the past, my problem, I think, was I was doing way too much. Like all these people are getting results. Let's do 40 sets per fucking week, per fucking muscle group. And like I can probably do 5 or 10 with great form and great intensity and just get much better results and much less fatigue. So
yeah, because remember, smaller muscle groups recover quicker. Yeah, so we can get away with 30 sets per week for biceps and delts because they recover quicker. If you're training with 30 sets a week for fucking delts, something's wrong somewhere. Something is really wrong. You don't need 30 sets per week to grow your delts.
And yeah, a lot of people are doing just too much volume and they don't really have the tempo and execution and the technique nailed down, and they don't really have quality in their efforts.
I was training with, curious you say this because, I was explaining how they're new to it, right? And they're it's like They're like this. Oh, what about this exercise? What about this one? How many sets did you do for this? Like, how hard do you have to push? So I'm like, so I took them. I said, like, fuck all the questions for a minute, right? Let's go to the gym and I'm going to take you through training sessions today. And so we did pecs, triceps, and delts. We did, ended up doing 2 exercises for pecs, 2 sets each. 1 exercise for triceps and 1 exercise or 2 exercises for side delts. And I went into it with them and said, this is what we're going to do. They're like, what? This is so little. Okay, tell me that afterwards. And so we took both sets of dumbbell presses to like damn near failure. The incline Smith press, both sets to failure, and then like just a drop set at the end, just for a bit of fun. Tricep press downs with a V bar, right? Like really heavy for like sets of 6. We did like 3 sets. And then the cable side raises and some dumbbell side raises as well. And they were fucked. They were absolutely fucked after it.
Mm-hmm.
They went into it thinking that, God, you see all these people just doing like 5, 6, 7, 8 different exercises for pecs, right? It's like, what? And they're like, why do these people do that? And it's just like you said, they're not training hard enough. If you're not training hard enough, then maybe you do need to do a ridiculous amount of exercises and sets and reps in order to get the same, result. But with that, then you've got to start to factor in kind of, Jesus Christ, do you want to be spending that much time in the bastard gym, right? Do you really want to be moving your limbs with that much frequency, in a training session in which ultimately you need to consider the longevity of your joints and your tendons and your ligaments? If you're busting out 5, 6, 7, 8 different exercises, 3 sets each for like 20 reps, it's like, my God, you're putting them through a lot to get something, to get an outcome that you can very easily facilitate with higher intensities, lower exercise selection, better execution, and therefore maximize the longevity of the things like your connective tissue and your joints that you need to build muscle, right? So we left the gym, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty fucked as well, to be honest. And it was only 4 sets for pecs, 3 for triceps, maybe like 4 for delts. Yeah, very important stuff.
Yeah. Just training hard is something that a lot of people don't really do, and they notice like, wow, like 8 sets a week. I mean, it's brutal. But I had this one guy applied for coaching, and I set up his program, and then it was like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like, and then I saw what he had been doing before, and it was like 40, 50 sets a week on chest, and I was like, I think we should start at like under 10 and see what happens, and then increase, because you don't start balls to the wall. You start low and then you increase if you need to. Like, you don't start with 100,000 sets. You don't bake a cake and you just put 10,000 kilos of flour and 50 million gazillions liters of water. Like, try making a small muffin first and then try to see if that works first. So, I mean, yeah, was kind of frustrating, because I was like, that's way overkill. But he wouldn't listen to me. He was like, and I just had him on for a month or 2, because he didn't want to do less. But I guess being in a coaching service just requires you to be willing to change some things and try some new things, and maybe do less than you've been doing with better quality.
It's exactly where I was going to go with that. Is, do not hire a coach if you're not prepared to change. Do not even consider it. It's going to be immeasurably frustrating for both of you, and it's going to jeopardize what relationship you do have prior to that, because there will be a conflict of interest within it. And whilst there should be room for exchanges of conversation, of course, and ideas, ultimately you've hired this coach to very likely change what it is that you're doing because you want to get better. If you've hired a coach and things have changed and you're not prepared to change with it, you will remain the same for the rest of your life. Don't waste your time. Don't waste Julian's time, motherfucker, by going to him and not being prepared to change, because it's going to put a sour kind of aftertaste on the relationship. And ultimately, bigger picture here is, you got to consider where that kind of mindset is going to take you in life. You know, if you're not prepared to change, if you're prepared to give someone money to help you get better, right, but then not listen to them, it's like,
Mm-hmm. Because coaches are basically like fitness problem solvers, like finding solutions, finding where there's leeway to add more, to remove something, to progress. And if you can't trust your coach and just follow what they give you, what's the point? Because you want to do what you've been doing, and yeah,
welcome to Progresslessville. No progress for you, my friend. You will remain exactly where you are for the rest of your life. Have fun. Bye. I'll see you over here, where everyone gets better all the time. It's great fun over here. It really is. Because we make gains, like both mentally and physically, and you're over there just like doing nothing. Yeah. So have fun. Bye.
yeah.
Segue.
Segue. Let's segue
Yeah.
into something completely random, and then I think we're good here. We can kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, because I'm
Um,
starving, dude.
yeah, and it's late, 9 p.m., 8 p.m. in fake Europe, which is the island of Britain.
Fake Europe.
The little, like Europe's little turd at the outskirts.
Yeah, yeah. I know what's a brilliant idea, said the UK. Let's leave the European Union. No, said the entire population of the UK. That's a terrible idea. Okay, we'll do it. Fuck me. What a horrendous decision that was. Life in the UK has been just horrifically difficult ever since we left the European Union. You can't get anything, right? And the things that you can get are infinitely more expensive, right? Travel is so much more difficult and expensive. Right? Fuel is so much more difficult to stock in the UK, seemingly, and expensive. It's like, where's the positive here? Where is the positive in any of this? Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but this country is run by absolute buffoons, buffoons with millions and millions of pounds that care very little about the majority of the population, and it's evidence in the decisions that they make every day. And unfortunately, as a result of that, we are now the little shit that hangs off the end of the European Union, where all the fun stuff happens, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's like, I think if I was in charge, I would do a better job than these fuckers.
Yeah.
Because at least we stay. I think an important thing also for coaches is to realize I'm good at this. I suck at. I'm decent at coaching. I'm decent at a few things in life, but I suck at most things. And I'm not gonna fucking try to do those things and say like I'm a professional, because I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people running things, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just winging things.
Winging it, and they're fucking it up along the way.
Yeah, I think that's the same problem as in the fitness industry, because they can't be real, they can't be themselves. They have to be a professional, fake it till you make it, high ticket fit pro, fucking government associate person.
We've been faking it for so long, dude. Who are you now? I bet you don't even remember.
I think the more you display your personality and your real self, like the more good things will come out of it in the end.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
for
Yeah.
everything.
That's
And in those fields, like there's so much fakery.
Yeah, yeah, for real, man. It's so freeing to be loved and appreciated for who you actually are. Like no holds barred, all the warts out for everyone to see. You know, to know that there's people out there that actually, yeah, I do care because you're actually all right. There's nothing more grounding, I'd say, in life, um, than that. Well, making gains is quite grounding actually, but being yourself is also pretty cool.
Yeah. And I love just being able to say fuck and shit and asshole on social
Yeah,
media, because
yeah.
why not?
Tits, cock, rectum. I'm such a child. Ruining Julian's podcast.
Yeah, it was worse when we had the previous podcast when it was all just asshole, banana monkey, asshole, fried Krispy Kreme donut, anus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we can behave a little bit. We've
Only a
gotten
little
better
bit.
at it. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a time we tried to take it too far and just talk about assholes all the time, but it was too much bullshit. So I think now we have a good blend of bullshit and
Yeah.
value in what we're
That's
talking
right.
about.
Yeah, we've grown a fair bit over the past few years, dude.
Yeah, man. It's like every year. I think last year, wow, that was a different me.
God, yeah. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, I guess we can wrap it up and go eat
Mm,
something and chill a little bit because I think we deserve it.
yeah.
Any
Sure, man.
last words?
This has been cool. It's fun. It's just like a flow of consciousness.
Hmm.
And I like that intertwining of it in a podcast kind of space.
I think the
Um,
best podcasts are when people just talk about shit that they vibe with and it
mm,
just flows. It's not just
mm.
cookie cutter shit. We just have a conversation and people can listen to it and
Yeah.
hopefully get something of value out of it.
So I'd love to feature again, sir, if you'd like to have me.
For sure. For sure. I'm going to do my best to get some more cool people on. Maybe not as cool as Morgan, but still pretty cool.
Probably, yeah,
And then
probably.
we will have some more of these in the future. So
Mm.
if you listen to this episode and you say, fuck this shit show, I'm not going to listen to the next one, I hope you will because Morgan's going to come on and be even better next time. So stay tuned.
With that.
Peace out.
Love you guys. Ta-ta for now.